All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View commentary for the 2nd of December. We will only have 3 commentaries coming up. The last one will be December 16th. And we will then, when we are done with our December 16th one, we will take off the 23rd and the 3rd, and we'll start back up on January 6th. So it actually is going to be like 3 weeks off, but December 16th will be the last commentary for Hurley Investments as I start crunching numbers and seeing what else is out there, what we can get ourselves into. I've got a couple things to go over today. I want to discuss the Christmas rally. I want to discuss maybe some trading techniques. And I'm going to finish up pissing off the other half of you guys as we talk about the Secretary of Health. That's just the way I'm going to put it. I promised I'd do the other side of the story there. So just some comments for people to understand. It's interesting because more than 2 of you, but less than 100, have asked me a question, Kevin, what's this Christmas rally? Because some people have found that the Santa Claus rally is typically the couple days after Christmas and the couple days before the 1st of January. As it says, the Santa Claus rally refers to the stock market tendency rise during the final trading days of December and the first 2 trading days of January. I've heard the Christmas rally being the days after the 25th, which would be the half day on the 26th, the 27th, 30th, 31st, and the 1st. I've heard the Santa Claus rally is the average turn of the week leading up to Christmas. So I have just called it a Christmas rally. And for those of you that are uncertain about a Christmas rally, it actually starts sometime in the middle of November and it ends after the 3rd of January for this year, the couple days after the 1st. That is a real broad spectrum. And the reality is a Christmas rally is just the time frame of middle November to a couple day, well, can't spell, a couple of days after January 1st, when the market will run higher sometime, and I'm going to put quotes in there, sometime in that time frame. It always happens. Now, again, a couple of years back, I don't know if you'll remember, we had like a 3-day rally where the market went up like 3%. If we were to look at the stock charts on the S&P 500, you could technically say we've had our rally already over the last 2 weeks. You could say, hey, Christmas rally is in effect, and technically you would be correct. All it means is, hey, stocks are moving higher sometime in the middle of November through a couple days after the 1st of January, excuse me, New Year's Eve. So that's all it is. It's a very broad spectrum where in some way, shape, or form, people are trying to justify upward movement in the market. Now, there are some things that I found that I agree with 100%. And I'm going to call it a Santa Claus rally, because this will usually happen the days after Christmas up until a couple of days after the New Year's. It's investor sentiment and optimism, which just means the holiday season inspires positive sentiment, where psychologically, dumb money, us, market people that are institutional traders, are literally trying to push their portfolios higher. It's interesting because number 4 then says portfolio rebalancing and window dressing. This is the fund manager side. So is it all dumb retail money? Is it just people that are trading on their own, small investors? No, it's smart money too. Portfolio rebalancing and window dressing. Number 4, fund managers frequently rebalance their portfolios to improve end of the year performance as window dressing. Not that their performance looks better, but when you see something like Meta that they haven't been in, it's shocking how funds all of a sudden add Meta shares at the end of the year, talking about fund returns and the BS that's involved with trading in funds. Sometimes, if they've owned a single share, your fund will average this great return, and you'll look at your statement and you'll go, well, that's BS. That didn't happen. And you'd be right. Window dressing is again a trick of the trade that is not fair. It's not accurate. It is garbage. But it's a way that that fund managers try not to look as bad as their results tell them. It's a joke. Tax harvesting, that doesn't help. Usually it's people that are going to book some losses. Lower trading volumes, the reason why it looks so good is because there's not the institutional traders typically in. They've already done their rebalancing window dressing in November, the first week of December. And then obviously there's some New Year positioning that occasionally people are going to throw some money at their expectations for the future year. So in real life, this is all that you will see when it comes to the Christmas rally. It's a broad-based time frame. It's not exact. As you'll see, there's people that say the week before, the week during. Oh, it can happen middle of December till the first couple days after January. Again, it's a social science that people are trying to talk about, hey, the market will go up sometime in that 6-week period of time. As I spoke last week, it's kind of a back the truck up kind of time. We're not running with a lot of puts to protect to the downside. We're letting things run into the end of the year. For some portfolios that are cash heavy, we are looking to let things take off. For some of you that are in personal accounts to offset the meta gains, we're probably looking at cashing in Baidu and staying out of Baidu for 30 to 31 days so we can tax harvest the loss on the stock. Even though we've made a lot of the puts on the way down, we need to offset those gains from puts in a couple stocks, and obviously the huge gains that we've had in Meta, Micron, Nvidia. Under Armour did really good this year. Disney's starting to do good, which is something that looks great going into next year. Ford has done really good. Bank of America just took off. So there's a lot of positions that have got some great gains, but we took our profits on Meta at around 596 with a short call. It was like getting out at $609, and we replaced those positions with an option stock replacement strategy. So just to let you know, again, there are some accounts that we will most likely look to take a profit on Baidu to offset your taxes on getting out of Meta. All right. Second thing, let me go ahead and just ask you guys in general. I'm going to get a poll off to you. I'm curious to know. You should have a box that just opened up for you. I'm curious to know, where do you think the S&P is going to end December? And for those of you that don't know, right now we're trading at around 6,053. I'll tell you exactly where we're trading here in a second. We finished today at 6,047. So where are we going to finish? I'm looking to have you guys vote. You should have had a little poll that just popped up. Where do you think we're going to finish the where do you think we're going to finish our S&P 500? I'm going to give you guys about 5 more seconds. Please click on the number, send it in, and we are done. Wow, you guys are pretty amazing. Okay, I'm now sharing it with you. It should have popped up that you have 70% are saying 6,100. 30% of you are saying we're going to stay right where we're at. That's really interesting because I would probably go at that 6,100 as well. But the whole group, all of us, all 21 of us are saying higher going into the future, which that's interesting that I would agree with that. It probably is correct. And so our thoughts are, our polls show a higher year ending being 6,100 plus. All right, so with that said, we're going to bring up one last time, and I'm going to make this and I'm going to apologize up front. I'm going to apologize up front because, as we all know, last week was not our best. Yes, RFK Jr. is expecting, and that's Robert F. Kennedy, right, is going to be the new health secretary. Which means to a lot of people, and I'm just going to make the comment that Trump made. Trump said, I'm going to let him go wild on health. I'm going to let him go wild on food. I'm going to let him go wild on medicines. So those are the words that Donald Trump said to describe the free rein he's going to give Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Understand, it's a $1.7 trillion budget. And most, I'm not going to say all, but most doctors do not like this choice. And there are some pretty simple reasons why this is going to be a problem. This is 25% of all government spending. Now, just a couple comments that have been made that that people are worried about. And I'm going to just take a couple comments here and there that I'm just going to suggest some people understand. He is a anti-science, and these are his own words, so please don't get too mad. Conspiracy theorist. What does that mean? And where are we going to have some issues more often than not? Let me go through because I've got a bunch of them listed here. He has very little government experience. He has no compelling qualifications for the job. And he's also antagonistic to, oh, where did I just find it? The CDC and NIH. So here's our concerns. Immunities and new drugs. That'll be the first one that you're going to look at and say, hey, is he doing a good job in that regard? Infectious diseases. And a lot of us are thinking, well, the COVID wasn't the greatest. To say it mildly, the shot wasn't necessarily what it said it was going to be. It will probably never have another COVID, but rampant help by way of taking a COVID shot will most likely never happen again, at least for the next 4 years. Just something to pay attention to. With that said, biopharma, can't type, and prescription drugs will take a hit. It takes huge amounts of money to find these drugs. So when it comes to the R&D, and when we're trying to lower the cost of some of these drugs, it will destroy or at least set back that part of the research that the U.S. does. Do not be surprised if we see some areas like overseas in England take some steps far above and beyond where we're at today, as they get 4 years of working where we're going to be slowed down here. And then this is the last one, which is just kind of a bugger. But processed foods, which means if you think you are not smart enough to control yourself in buying a 64-ounce drink or a 32-ounce drink, or fluoride in drinking water, raw milk is healthier than pasteurized milks. A comment was made, we shouldn't allow our children to eat processed foods such as Fruit Loops, for that amounts to mass poisoning. These are comments that he has said in regards to food. So don't be surprised if you start to see a limit on portions, if he affects fast food chains or restaurant chains. It'll be interesting to see where he takes away some of your freedoms. For those of you that are thinking you're staunch Republican, you're conservative, out of all the people to have here, this is one of the ones that's that honestly, I truly hope this is a 1 year and done. He gets fired. 2 comments just came in, and I'm going to respond to both of them. I get your concern, but I expect common sense to be applied specifically on the good side of health, the good side of the health industry. Just to help you understand, he is not of good common sense in the first place. So you can't expect good common sense in the industry when you put someone in charge that has so many comments that are way out in left field. That's not an option on this side. Second thing, we have enough drugs already. Do we really need to keep looking for more? And the short answer is yes. When you stop progress, you're not ready for the next thing that's coming. And I'm sorry, I think we can do a lot of extra work for cancer. I think there's a lot of work to be done on some gene altering drugs. My wife has ankylosing spondylitis, which is a really bad rheumatoid arthritis. So do we have enough drugs? Yes, there are a ton of drugs that are out there. But to stop the progress that's being made for better drugs and to fight some sicknesses or diseases that we don't have under control, we're far from being able to sit and rest on our laurels. And a very interesting comment, not going to happen. Congress will not pass his nomination. Big pharma lobbyists will stop it. I'm not so sure. I would like to hope so, Jim, but there's so many comments that are made. 5G cellular networks are being used to control human behavior. The Fruit Loops one. The COVID-19 mRNA vaccine is the deadliest ever made. Antidepressant use is the underlying cause of mass shootings. Sunscreen lotion is dangerous. Autism can be treated with, and I don't know how to say it, chelation, a treatment for heavy metal exposure. I don't know. I don't know if this might be a party lines question, and it's just not good. But I'm just playing the other side or explaining the other side of the coin too, to see where we end up at and to see where things are going to be. I don't have an exact comment on it, but it is something we should be paying attention to. All right, Dollar General is on the 5th, and it's not estimated. It does have it's on the 5th, and Micron is now estimated to be on the 18th. And in case you didn't know, Dollar Tree is on the 4th. So if you're looking at Big Lots, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, some of these dollar stores that look awful and are on the brink, some of them are on the brink of going under. The short answer is they have their earnings coming up here in this week, actually. On the 4th is Dollar Tree, on the 5th is Dollar General. Okay, let's see what else I have for us today. Just actually one more thing to make comment on. Someone asked, why are we still going higher? Couple reasons. Economic reports, they've been excellent. ISM manufacturing today, it came in at 48.4 versus an estimate of 47.6. 50 is the expansion median line. We're moving back towards it. It's not a really big report, but construction spending has been going down. It came in at a positive 0.04 versus an estimated 0.1. Last week, we had some really good economic reports. We still are expecting a quarter point rate cut on December the 18th. So that's still in play. There is talk about having a, how would I say it? Having no more rate cuts. Again, they've already overshot. We are due for some rate cuts. Inflation is coming down, but we still have plenty of inflation to come down in food that has not. I would expect rate cuts to still come. Worst comes to worst, I guarantee you, if we don't have rate cuts coming next year, Powell will be out of a job. President Trump will find someone else to put into his place. Okay, that was the last thing I had for you. Big picture, targets. Targets going for next year, how much we're going to grow. It's just a social science. It's just a guess. It's a moving target. No one knows what the future is going to hold. Just because Goldman Sachs said 6,500, Morgan Stanley 6,500, Wells Fargo 66, UBS 64. Is there a recession? Will there not be a recession? Are we still going to have a bull market? Do we need a pullback? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just out there that, hey, estimate should go up because we have a president with both the House and the Senate. He has been business friendly, tax cuts, and more opening to less regulation when it comes to business. That all speaks for further appreciation in our stock market. With that said, where our market's going to end, I would definitely tell you higher for this week. But if you look at the charts, if you notice on that upper right-hand corner, for those that remember their level 1 basic charting, right? We are right at that overbought line at 70. The Dow's at 66.73, which means we might need to go sideways to slightly down before we get another run up. It would not surprise me to see a little something like this happen in the next couple of weeks. Little bit of a pullback. We run into the end of the year. All right, the S&P 500 looks much the same. Not a whole lot of upside, technically speaking. We're looking at 66.72. The overbought line on the RSI is 70. We're there. That does not mean that we can't run for a couple weeks into an overbought position. If we do, we're looking to add protection towards the end of the year in January, as we'll probably have a bit of a pullback. Let me respond to that question here in just a minute. NASDAQ, a little more room, 65.07. 70 is a median line. A good run up today. It is the same thing. There's very little room to the upside. So yes, I will go back and address that. But here's my simple answer, just for kicks and giggles, right? Yes, Biden pardons his son, who is already a convicted criminal, which will hide what Joe Biden has done, blah, 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 blah. Yes, we knew it was going to happen. If it didn't happen from Biden, it might have been an olive leaf for Trump to do. It doesn't matter or affect our stock market at all. If it's something you want to be political about, then yes, you can throw a stink about it, but I might make a suggestion, and this is just a personal suggestion. It's time we rise above the abuse of politics. If you're Republican, you got what you wanted. You got the House, you got the Senate, you got Trump. If you're Democrat, you don't have anything right now. But in 2 years, you'll probably pick up the Senate back or the House back or both, and you've just had 4 years. Really, it's time that we as people rise above the abuse of politics. I'm so sick and tired of asking questions and answering questions about this. I'll be 100% honest with you. I can't believe some of the things that I heard that Democrats were behind. And yes, I'm overlooking some of the things Trump has done, has been accused of, or that people have said that he's done. My suggestion to us as a group and a country, it's time to rise above the abuse of politics. There's no Republicans shooting up cities right now. There's no Democrats shooting up cities, which means the Democrats are getting better in some areas. But if you want to be a Republican and start to spat out your mouth and say a bunch of crap that truly none of us know, won't help the situation out either. My suggestion is time for us to rise above the abuse of politics. Just stop. Just stop altogether. Let's get our country back moving forward. Let's get inflation down. That's my suggestion when it's going to come to politics. And I'm not going to be baited into getting pissed off or argue or debate it anymore. My choice, I'm going to rise above it. I'd rather walk away from that. Okay, I'm giving a 2% rise for the S&P in December. Earnings, we have Salesforce on Tuesday, Dollar Tree on Wednesday with American Eagle Outfitters, Five Below, Dollar General on Thursday with DocuSign, Smith & Wesson Brand Incorporated, Ulta and Lulu, and Genesco on Friday. Really not much happening this week except for ADP employment numbers on Wednesday. And they're probably going to be better than expected this month for sales seasonal. What did I say? For seasonal hires, they will be awful in January for seasonal fires. Meaning people are going to get fired. They're just there for that 6 to 8 week period of time. How am I looking to trade? Again, we've done some backing up of the truck. I'm not looking to do a whole bunch more from where we're at. We are looking at possibly selling Baidu for 31 days to tax harvest those losses, but to get right back in. I thought I shared this 2 weeks ago, but I forgot. So I'm putting it in here one more time. Beware of Ponzi funds that are hiding in plain sight. These are some funds, a lot of the AI, the crypto, media companies, the funds that hold on to your money that will buy in. Just, you've got to do more research. You've got to be doing your work now before you just randomly get put into some of this garbage that's out there. All right. I found a very interesting idea that Robinhood is going to acquire a $40 billion RIA platform. Some people have asked, hey, are we going to ever move over to Robinhood? The answer is no. They've had so many lawsuits put against them. They can't afford this purchase. They won't make enough money off of it. It's it's going through Wells Fargo. It's just, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And they're not qualified to be an RIA platform. There's no registered investment advisors that are worth anything that will truly be on it. If they are, they will be gone within the year. So no, we'll not ever go to Robinhood, like we'll never go back over to Schwab, and wouldn't surprise me to see them out of business. I have the Big Short Michael Burry shuffles portfolio holdings. There's a chart what he has. I found it very interesting that Alibaba was down today and Baidu was up the same amount roughly. Considering Baidu owns 30% of Alibaba, kind of interesting, but plain and simple, Baba, JD.com, Baidu, there is $54 million of his money sitting over in China. So when a lot of people say, are we going to be in trouble? Are we out of China? Should we not be in China? The short answer is you've got to do your own research. China is the second largest economy in the world. It's really bigger than the European Union in that group. It's obviously dwarfs the South America and the Asian indexes that are out there. If you have a problem with being in China, my comment is, why wouldn't you be? Well, they're fake and they're this and they are, what's the thing? Fake companies and they don't report and they tariff and subsidize. And it's like, well, yeah, we've all done the same thing. We've had bad companies here. If you don't think the U.S. manipulates the value of the dollar, got to get your head out from underneath the rock or out of your butt, because we do it all the time. You just got to be smart. Is there a risk with it? Of course there is. But truly no more risk investing in China than there is investing in Europe. There's more of a chance that the European companies will go under than China right now. Elon Musk. I found another little comment. I mentioned it last week, but I did find an interesting article on how he plans to slash some government agencies. With a little bit of luck, we will hopefully go back down to reasonable sized oversight in government. There's no reason why we had to add another 75,000 IRS agents. Yes, it was blocked, but no, the jobs were put out there. You really need to look into it. But the short answer is I am more for a smaller government. I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't necessarily want bigger state governments either. But I do know that our government does not run efficiently. I love the fact that Trump would hire and fire his cabinet members. He's looking for results. He's not looking for people. He's put people in and got them out as quickly as possible. And having Ramaswamy in there as well with Musk, I think that's a proper balance between Musk going overboard. And it'll be interesting to see how these two work on making our government more efficient in general. Very interesting article. Thousands of Americans see their savings vanish in the fintech crisis, and this goes back to November 22nd, but I've said it over and over again. Yes, I understand that I've missed an opportunity in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Yes, I understand Dogecoin went up. I also understand that most of that is crap. So I'm not choosing to be in coins or cryptocurrency. It truly doesn't make sense yet. Here's an article to help you guys understand the risk. Yes, I understand it doesn't mean that it can't take off. It just means it's not something I'm going to be investing in. I love this one. On the 26th, Jim Cramer says, don't lose faith in the big tech mega caps. The Mag 7 are not dead. And as soon as I got this, the next comment when I sent it out to my guys was, oh, looks like it's time to put puts on it because he's trying to boost it up so he can sell it off. It's amazing how Amazon's up at call 239, 240. Amazon's done well. I don't understand. Meta's back up to 592. Microsoft has done amazing. Nvidia's up at 147 after a stock split. Yes, there are plenty of upside in the big tech mega caps. Because those of you that could afford the stock on Meta, that made your year. Apple's done pretty well. Nvidia, we were into some people because it's cheaper. We still believe, and we shifted money over to the mega caps this year. That's made our biggest gains outside of Under Armour, Bank of America, and I want to say Square, but there's another one I'm forgetting. So yes, we believe it. We don't believe it because Jim Cramer says so. Yes, you typically want to put puts on whatever he pushes out there because he's trying to push it up for a quick sale. Kevin, what about this chip strike and the strikes on chips? A great article that explains who's going to be hurt and who's not. Yes, we do it to the whole Asian region, but we give a pass typically to Japan and New Zealand area. So a great article. If you're worried about chips, please read through this. It'll answer most, if not all, of your questions when it comes to tariffs on chips. All right, what questions do you guys have that I can answer for you? And yes, if I can read one more comment. With Trump pushing digital dollar, it probably will explode, but its value is nothing. There's nothing to support it. I agree 100%. There truly is nothing to support the basically cryptos in general, coins in general, Doge coins and what have you. It's just not there. All right. What questions do you guys have? And Curtis, I need to give you a quick call if it's okay when we're done. So Maud actually made a great question. Nothing supports the US dollar though, right? And so is it backed by gold anymore? No, it's backed by the good faith and the ability for the US to print more dollars, which is inflationary. But the advantage of the dollar and what it's supported by, truly the dollar is supported by being the reserve currency. Because it's a reserve currency, it has more support or strength than any other currency in the world right now. So, correct? No. The dollar is not technically supported by gold or backed by anything than the ability of the U.S. government to print more dollars. But where you have backing on the dollar is that it's the reserve currency for the world and trading all commodities. So it has to be purchased, held, and used in those regards. Great comment. Support on Bitcoin and speculation, nothing else. That is correct. It's supply and demand. The growth on Bitcoin is a supply and demand. It's worth nothing unless someone else buys it. Whereas if you had $1, it's worth $1. And yeah, I mean the Dogecoin, what a joke. It's a coin with the dog on it. It's worth nothing unless someone will take it. All right. Any other comments? Any other questions? If not, I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you very much. We shall have this posted here shortly. Again, we're going to run this Monday, next Monday, and the week after, the 16th, will be the last one for the year. Then we'll start up on January 6th again for the new run into the new year for doing the commentaries here. Back the truck up. If you see things going on sale, load up. Load up for a short-term investment. It starts to go down, you can always protect it by adding a long put, purchasing that protection on it. All right, guys. Hey, have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you guys being here. Look forward to seeing you next week. And with that said, everyone have a great evening. I look forward to seeing you in a week. Bye-bye, everyone.